I'm Matt Mason. I want to talk to you guys for a few minutes about how I think a man should treat a woman and should treat his family. Now, we have a lot of men that have kids. There's a lot of guys that have wives. Just because you're a dad don't mean you're a father. And just because you're married don't mean you're a husband. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's work to be either one of those. Don't take it for granted. Don't take your wife, don't take your kids for granted. They're human beings. Now, I think that a man should lead his family. That's what I believe. I believe that a man should lead his household. And sadly, a lot of the things that I'm going to go over today are controversial in today's world. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care. What the world thinks and what society and culture and people say is right and appropriate doesn't affect me. It never has and it never will. And if it ever did, I'm well past that point in my life. But a man leading his family, the problem we have in today's world is we have men on both sides on extreme sides of the same topic. You get some men are alpha males. They come in and it's my way or the highway, and you're going to do as I say and do as I say, not as I do, and they just try to lead with an iron fist, and that does not work. It flat don't work. You have the opposite side of it, where you get weak, wimpy, undecisive men that are just, soft around the edges and just whatever's fine for everybody, that's fine for everybody. Don't be that way either. I mean, man up, son. Grow your set. You got to find that balance somewhere in the center of those two things. You want to have compassion. You want to be soft. I want to have compassion and listen to my wife and listen to my daughter. I want to have compassion with my little boys. With my 15-year-old son, I don't always need to have compassion. Sometimes he needs a little bit of roughing around the edges to go, hey, son, this is how you be a man. Sometimes he needs compassion, and sometimes the others need a little bit of roughness from me. Now, don't take that out of context, okay? I'm not talking about beating your kids. I'm not talking about, I've never hit my wife. I've never hit my kids. I've never hurt anybody in my family. Okay? That's just, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's acceptable. That's not manhood. That's a man that's insecure. In fact, if you've ever hit your woman, I can't say if you've ever done it. I've never done it. If you regularly hit a woman, or you don't think that it's a big deal if you do, they're to dig you a hole somewhere. That's what I think. If you do it to your kids, same way. No excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse for it. I can't let my kids get away with everything, but I don't beat them to make them listen. So you got both ends of the spectrum, right? Don't be the alpha. Don't be this dogmatic, iron-fisted leader that your family only follows out of fear. And like I said, don't be the other side of it, where you're following them, not able to make a decision. Undecisiveness is a decision. Make a decision. I tell my kids and I teach my son, I don't care if you make the wrong decision. Just, God bless, make you a decision, son. If you make the wrong one, so be it. You learn from your mistakes and you move on. And you hopefully don't make that mistake again. But we're human beings. We learn from our mistakes. So don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid to admit when you do. I mean, nobody wants to follow the path of a weak, indecisive man. Who wants to do that? I don't. I don't look up to those guys. I try to steer clear of them if I can. I think it's important to hold the door open for a woman. Open the door. Open the car door for your wife. My wife and I have been married now longer than we haven't. We've been together longer than we have. We started dating in high school, and we've had our ups and downs, and we've had a go of it. But to this day, I still open the door for her 8 times out of 10. Now, there's sometimes I don't. But if I get an opportunity and she don't beat me to it, I always open the car door for her. I open a door for her if we're going in to church, or we're going into the grocery, or we're going into a restaurant. It don't matter. I do the same for my daughter. If a woman needs a seat, if you're in a room and you're sitting in a room or wherever, and there's people gathered, and there's a few seats open, but you see a woman come in and start looking for a seat, you be the first man to stand up and say, here, you take my seat right here. You sit right here. And you go stand up, or go find you another seat. Now, there's a lot of women in today's world that don't like that, and I don't care. They're probably not watching this video anyway. So I don't care, and if they are, I don't care either way. It'll be more awkward for you standing up and trying to prove your point than it will be for me, I promise you. Awkward situations have never bothered me one bit, okay? I've made my life being on stage in front of people, and I don't care. I just don't. I've had some awkward moments up there, and it just don't bother me. So if you want to try to fight that battle, that's fine. I'm good at it. So just open the door. You know, open the door for women. Stand up for them when they're there. It's little things like that. It's those little day in, day out things, and your family will start respecting you. Now hear me. I didn't always have the respect of my family. I wasn't always a good man by any sense of the word. And so what I'm telling you and where I'm speaking from is from experience. I've had to walk out the last 8 years of my life earning the respect of my wife and my daughter and my son. Now, my younger kids don't know a different man. They know me as I am now. But my older kids knew me when I wasn't a good man. They knew that guy. And it took a while. It took a while to prove myself. But it was one little step at a time. It was one honest statement at a time. And showing them that when I say something, I mean it. When I say something, I'm telling the truth. I'll follow through with what I say. And of course, you know, I make mistakes still. I'm a human being. We all make mistakes. Moving on. If you wear a hat, okay? I always wear a hat. I have for a long time. And if you wear a hat, whether it's a cowboy hat or a ball cap, a fedora, one of them weird railroader hats, whatever you got, whatever you wear. When you meet a woman for the first time, take your hat off. Show a little respect. A little respect goes a long way. This is Winnie. Oh, Winnie. She's my buddy. She's my walking buddy. We go on walks down here sometimes. A lot of times. But anyway, take your hat off. Man, I mean, just, you don't have to keep it off. Just take it off, introduce yourself. Good to meet you, you know. And use ma'am. Use ma'am. If you're at the grocery, or you're, you know, filling your truck up with diesel, or you're, you know, at the, wherever, you're buying something, you meet somebody. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And some people will correct you, and I've had women say, don't call me that. That's what they call my mom, and I understand that. You know, and if they don't want me to say that, then I'll try to remember not to. But at first introduction or first encounter, that's always what I do. It's respectful. And it's easy. It don't take no effort. But those little bitty things, those little things, man, it will gain respect. You'll earn respect. You're gonna knock the camera over here, cat. And one of the last things I think that's important, not the last thing, but the last thing on my mind right now that's important, is be aware of your surroundings. Be aware when you're with your wife, you're with your girlfriend, you're with your family. Always have, you know, your ears perked just a little bit. I'll always be watching just a little bit, because you never know. We live in a time, we live in a society, we live in a world where people are crazy. There are some stone cold nut jobs out there, and you don't know what somebody is willing to do or what they're willing to risk. And there's so many people that don't even see life as being important. The life of someone else is not important to them. The life of my family is important to me, and the life of my wife is important to me. And I want to make sure that if I am somewhere, I will be the first one to know if something's fixing to happen, and I will be the first one to take action against it. There was a time a couple years ago, and our daughter goes to a private school. All our kids are homeschooled, and she goes to a co-op school a couple days a week, and they were kind of low on funds a little bit, and they needed some of the men to step up and be security guards. And I had the time. And so I chose to do it. I went in and I said, yeah, I'll do this. And you had to have, at the time in Tennessee, you had to have a permit to conceal carry or to have a pistol on you, I believe was the rule. You don't have to have that anymore. If you're 18 or 21, I think it's 21, you're a law-abiding citizen, then you can open carry now in the state of Tennessee. But you couldn't at the time. So they checked I had went through a class, you know, because I like to carry, I like to have something on me. And my wife and I went through a class to get the proper education and the proper training on doing that. And so I signed up, and I had one of the other dads had told me, he said he concealed carried his, and that's fine. That was his choice, and I typically do too. I mean, sometimes I wear it open, but not very often. But when I was doing that job, I wore that pistol out there so that the whole world could see it. And I'll never forget that man. He said, you realize wearing that out there, you're going to be a target if somebody came into this school. If you had somebody come into this school meaning harm to these kids, you would be the target. And something about that statement got under my skin, because I realized he wasn't willing to be that. I said, that's the point. I'm signing up for this job, not paid. I'm signing up to do this because these kids' life are more important to me than mine. They got their whole future ahead of them. And if some crazy nut job comes in this place, choosing and wanting to try to harm these kids, and he sees that I have something on me, and he deems me somebody that is a threat to him, good, then I did my job. Ooh, that just, I don't mean to get fired up, but even thinking about that to this day, it still gets me a little fired up. The point is, be willing to lay down your life for your spouse. Be willing to lay down your life for your kids. It's the ultimate show of love, is being willing to lay your life down for someone else. That's the ultimate form of love. I hope that I don't have to do that. I hope that's not in the cards for me. But if it is, and I'm dealt that hand, then I'll play it with the best of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day. God bless you.